What's up, everybody? I'm battling a crazy cold right now, so I'm gonna rally here. You can just tell I sound like absolute trash, but hopefully it's worth it for you guys. I think I got a awesome presentation for you. And man, Tanner, you absolutely knocked it down there. Awesome presentation.
Thank you.
Love listening to that. But I do want to say that like 19s jalopy or whatever, you throw a nice wrap on that. Oh man, that would look so sweet. Okay, cool guys. Well, here, what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is building to sell. How to build a company that's worth millions while doing what you love. And this is really passionate. This is a really near and dear topic to my heart because I don't want to spend my time doing things that I don't like to do. And I hope that you guys are the same. Because life is short. If you have young kids, having them in there while they're little, that's a really short period of time. So I want to be doing things that I love every single day so that I can ultimately be happy because like we don't have a lot of time here on this earth. So let's use it doing something that we love. So when I was painting, if you guys would look at the screen here for a second, or some of you guys are working or driving or whatever. So this is a picture of my wrist after I fell through an awning 10 feet down onto a lawnmower. I was painting a window above this awning and my ladder slipped. I fell back and I fell 10 feet down after hitting the roof. So I hit the roof, fell through the roof, another 10 feet down onto a concrete slab in a lawnmower, right? I got rushed to the hospital, dislocated my lunate, which if anyone knows is it's like much worse than a break because it's like now I have like a ton of arthritis in my wrist. It's not good. And I had to get these 3 pins in my wrist for about 6 months. It was not fun. And this was right at the end of my first year of painting. And at that point, like it was the job from hell, right? Everything that could have gone wrong, went wrong. It was super underbid. My painters quit on me. I had guys mess up windows and just like I lost a ton of money. That job basically broke me. Like that was the first time I had ever cried in front of a grown man. And it was just the lowest of lows. And at the end of that job, I was like, what the hell am I doing this for? Why don't I just like go to school or go do something else? Like this is awful. And I almost quit. And I was really serious about that. Like, I almost quit painting altogether. But I'm really glad that I didn't quit because just 2 short years later, I decided to make a change on that job after that job, and I promised myself that I would never relive the same season like that before, where I'm painting, where I'm running a million miles an hour, where I'm not making any money. Right at the end of that year, actually, when I got my bill from the tax man, I actually had about a $30,000 tax bill and had no money left over either. Right. I'm sure some of you guys have been there as well, especially the start of your business careers where you have a tax bill, you don't have any money saved up. But just 2 short years later, I'd been able to transform my business into basically a machine that ran without me. So every Friday, the main part of my job every Friday was I would sit down and have a noodle bowl with my production manager, Ryan. And he would hand me about $50,000. Like we did checks back then. It was like 2013, 2014. He would hand me about $50,000 of checks, and I would hand him $50,000 of new jobs to be produced for the next week. And we did that every single Friday for quite some time. And that was pretty much the only thing that I did in my company. I did some estimates alongside my sales rep, but I was working about 15 hours a week in my painting company. We were doing over $200,000 per month. And again, that was like 10 years ago. So think about that with inflation. But then, as fate would have it, I met a girl, and after dating her for about 3 months, she got moved out of state, and I had a choice. I could either keep running my business and miss out on this opportunity, or I could follow her like a love drunk 20 whatever year old. And so I decided to finish up my summer production, move to completely different city where I had no network, no connections, and be with the love of my life. And it ended up being a really good decision because we've been married now for 10 years and we have two beautiful daughters. So good idea on the whole, not a great idea for short-term income, obviously. So when I got to Edmonton, I decided to start my painting company again, but focus more on commercial work. So this is me after dry falling a commercial ceiling. I got a bunch of like commercial projects and I had no network, no connections. And I just I'd already built my painting company once. I didn't have the passion or the desire to really do it again after kind of getting into this situation. But again, for the second time, fate would knock, and I got an opportunity to work for a software startup. So they were just in the very beginning, and within 3 years of working with them, I helped them kind of scale from just startup to over $10 million per year. So that allowed me to understand how an online business works, and that kind of started my foray into kind of what we're doing right now. But working for this company, I was getting paid a lot, and it was amazing culture, amazing team. At the end of the day, I still had this nag in my stomach. And I don't know if anyone else has this nag, but I call it the entrepreneur's curse. And this is like, as I run my business or before I was running my business, I always had this pit in my stomach that was telling me that my business isn't good enough. I'm not making enough money. I'm not far enough along. I should be better. Now, throw a one in the chat if anyone feels like that. Does anyone here feel like that constant that constant pit of despair in their stomach that's just like my business isn't where I need it to be? Just throw number one in the chat if that's landing for anyone. Okay, awesome. All right, so I'm not the only one. That's good. It's validating, guys. Thank you. Now, with that being said, I feel like I always have that, right? Constant state of disappointment in myself and my business, no matter how successful I may have been on paper. Um, I decided to start a side hustle, right? As I'm working at the software company, I started a side hustle. I ended up getting fired for having a side hustle. And if anyone else here can relate, starting a side hustle while you have a full-time job and not telling them about it, not a great idea. So I decided to start my own online business. I can't remember exactly how many, 4 or 5 years ago. And this was my humble beginnings in my office, and the nice picture of Jordan Belford there. But on another fateful day on October 1st or September something, 2021, I came across this book. This is $100 Million by Alex Hormozy. If anyone has ever have read this book before, Alex Hormozy, one of my icons, I'm actually going to go hang out with him in 2 weeks in Vegas. And we just won the school games last month, so we get to go. We got second, I guess, overall, but we get to go hang out with Alex and Sam Ovens next week or in 2 weeks in Vegas. So that'll be awesome. But this book changed my life because this allowed me to change like my side hustle. I was doing like some agency stuff, whatever, and allowed me to launch what now became Painter Growth. And in just 3 short years from after reading this, we've grown. We've worked with almost 1,000 painting contractors now. We've changed countless lives. We host masterminds every 6 months. And it's just like the most fulfilling thing I've ever done. And even a few months ago, Jobber sent me an email and flew me out, all expenses paid, to also to Vegas to record their podcast in person at the SiriusXM studio, which was an incredible experience. So that was really cool. But now this is my why, right? Still with Amanda 10 years later. I have two beautiful daughters. And this is my why, right? This is why I get out of bed. This is why I grind so hard. This is why I do what I do and try to have the biggest impact I can so that I can ultimately provide a great life for my girls. Cool. So now let's get into it. Build to sell. How to build a company that's worth millions while doing what you love. So I want to help you spend more time doing the things that you love. And the purpose is to really give you at least one actionable takeaway that can shift your life. And I do really mean that, shift your life, not just make an incremental change in what you're doing, but if you take what I'm telling you seriously and you just do one of the few things that I tell you to today, it can have a significant impact on your life. So I want you to ask yourself, what do you want to do with your business? Do you want to build it to sell? So one day, throw a one in the chat if you guys one day want to sell your company. Like you want to build it up, you want to get out of the operations and you want to sell it. Throw one in the chat. Okay, cool. Lots of ones. Throw number two in the chat if you want to build it up and you want to keep it as a cash cow. So you want to do the same thing, get out of operations and just have it like pouring money into your bank account without you having to do anything. Cool. A lot of ones, a lot of twos. This is really good. Do you want to know why? Regardless if you want to keep it as a cash cow or build it to sell, the actions are identical. You are doing the exact same thing and building the company the exact same way, depending on what you want. So today, I'm going to take you through what I call profit first business plan. And this is what we take all of our clients through first in a ton of detail and actually coming up with the amount of profit that you want to make and the time that you want to spend in your business before coming up with your business plan, right? A lot of people say, I want to do 1 million, I want to do 2 million, I want to do 5 million without ever asking why, right? The cool thing about painting businesses is the path is proven. We know exactly what it takes to build a big business, and it ultimately will look fairly similar across all geographic areas. So the two questions that we're going to ask is, number one, how much money do you want to make? And number two, how much do you want to work? And that will determine the monthly revenue that you need to get to. I'm going to take you through something that I call the theory of constraints, right? Just like a beer bottle, you have the neck at the top is the smallest. Every business has one constraint, one major constraint at any given time. And you might have multiple minor constraints, but there's always one that's holding you back the most. And so we're going to help you identify that. And then the third is priority management. And if you guys have been following me or listening to my podcast, I harp on this all of the time because priority management is legit the number one most important skill that you need to master to grow a big business. If you can't manage your time, you're never going to be able to manage your money. So 0 to 1 million, growing your business from 0 to 1 million is hard because it's on you. You have to do the estimates. You have to run production. You have to hire the painters. You have to do your payroll, right? You have to do pretty much everything. 1 to 5 million is also hard, but you have a team and it's a lot more fun. Who here would agree that bigger business problems are more fun, right? When I started my business, making like $1,000 swing at something, that was a big move, right? Then as I grew my business, I was now able to make $10,000 swings at things. Right now in my business, we're at a place where we can make $100,000 swings at things and like not really worry about it that much. Like, yeah, it's gonna hurt if it went wrong, but like we can make $100,000 swings and it's not gonna take food off the table, right? And it's just more fun. It's bigger. You get that like that energy. There's a reason why there's high roller tables in Vegas, right? And I'm excited for that point when we get to where I'm able to make $1 million swings at things. And I know a lot of people who have Brandon. Brandon's at a point in his life and his businesses where he's making $1 million swings at things, and it's really cool to see. So here's a quick 1 minute, not even 1 minute video here. This is just Josh, one of our clients we've been working with since last January.
Hey, this is Joshua with Coastline Architectural Painting. I've been in business for about 14 months. I was doing $15,000 to $20,000 a month in revenue. After joining Painters Growth with Mike and his team back in December, we are now doing over $200,000 a month in revenue and crushing it.
So Josh is an absolute badass. He's in Tampa. And now what we're going to do is just we're going to watch each one of these videos for the rest of my time. Just kidding. That would be nice though, because that'd give me my voice a break. But no, that's what we do. We do that every day. So whether you're chasing your first million or you're on your way to 5 million, what I'm going to talk about to you today is applicable. One more question I want to ask you guys, just so I can understand where you're at. I decided I don't have a slide to do this. If you're like less than 20K, put a 1. If you're per month, less than 20K, put a 1. 20 to 50K, put a 2. 50 to 100K, put a 3. 100K plus, put a 4. So I want to see kind of where y'all are at. A lot of 1s, bunch of 3s, some 4s. Wow, this is all over the place. Cool. Wow. Tanner, you got a full diverse crowd. You got everything here. This is wicked. So this is gonna be applicable for you regardless. It's good to know. So why are we business owners? It's a really important question to ask, right? Because it can be hard and thankless. Being a business owner is lonely as hell, especially if you don't have anyone to ask questions to. I know my wife, as supportive as she is, she doesn't want to hear about all my business problems, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys are in the same situation. Like your spouse, like you can talk about it a little bit, but like you're not allowed to talk about it as much as you want, right? So how easy would it be to just work a job? Imagine 4:30 comes around, you turn off and you're 100% with your family, right? Nothing else to worry about. No phone calls, no follow-ups, no estimates to write, no paint spills to clean up, no painters to hire, no HR issues, no payroll. Imagine just that. How easy would that be, right? Simple but boring. Exactly, David. But we're in this because risk equals reward. Because we're taking a higher risk, we're able to get an outsized reward. And there's no limit to how much money you can make as a painting business owner. I personally know, and there are speakers on this panel who are making over $1 million per year in their residential painting business in profit, right? It's absolutely doable. However, most people run their businesses from a place of fear, right? Fear of food, not having enough money for food or groceries or bills. But it's okay if you are currently running your business from a place of fear because insane amounts of wealth and money have been created from this place. But if you can this is kind of like a little higher level stuff, but if you can learn to enjoy the journey and enjoy the day to day regard and see the progress, and I'm really bad at this too. I'm trying to learn. I'm trying to get better at this. If you can see the progress that you're making and enjoy that progress and not just try to chase the end goal, you're going to have a much better time. I used to think that, once I got to my business to $10,000 per month, then I would be happy. Once I got my business to $1,000 per month, then I would be happy. Once I got my business to $250,000 a month, then I would be happy, right? Has anyone ever thought that before, right? I'm sure you guys have. What I realized as the goalposts kept changing, as my business kept getting bigger, is that the top of the mountain is a mirage. You're never going to be happy if that's how you're thinking right now, because you grow your business and your goalposts shift, right? You see it and you first see like you want to get to 10K per month. And then you see like, oh, there's guys doing 1 million a month. I'm a blip. And then you get to 100K per month and you're like, wow, there's guys doing 10 million a month. I'm a blip. And then you get to 1 million a month and you're like, wow, there's guys doing 100, 200 million a month. Like I'm a blip. So the goalposts keep changing and you'll never be happy. I realized I was just an anxious business owner. It's not just about doing more. It's about being happier. It's about enjoying the journey and it's about being present. right? I hate it when I'm with my kids, and I'm sure like a lot of you, I hope I'm not the only one, but I'll like be with my kids for an hour, and I'll realize at the end of that hour that I have no idea what they just did. I don't know what they said to me. I don't know what they were playing with. I don't know what I was doing, but I was not there. And as a business owner, that's like, and a father, like that's not the place that I want to be. So as you build a business, your goals change, right? Number one, you start your business because you want to provide for your family or for yourself, right? You're acting in that place of scarcity because you want to pay the bills. You need that lead. You got one estimate next week and you need them to say yes because that's going to pay for your groceries, right? And it's not a good place to be. I mean, you guys know that customers can smell desperation. And if you are desperate at an estimate, there's 0% chance you're getting that job. And once you can provide for your family, the next step is financial freedom. And I don't mean financial freedom as like yacht money. I mean financial freedom as like, hey, I want to like, I'm not checking the price on things at the grocery store, right? I need some new pants and a new sweater. Like I'm not double checking the price. Having that type of like, it's like a level one financial freedom where you don't need to check price at the grocery store. And once you get to that level, your level your life becomes so much easier and so much more comfortable. But then number three is creating a lasting impact. So once you have that financial freedom, and once you get to level two, level three financial freedom, where now you can, buy a car without really thinking about it, you can upgrade your house, you can do big renovations, not really think about it. You realize that money isn't everything, and it will leave you kind of empty if you just chase material goods. So I'm really big on creating an impact and doing things in my community and for others and helping them. And I'm also really fortunate because Painter Growth is a vessel that helps other people, but I also like to help people outside of Painter Growth as well. So as I've been scaling Painter Growth, number one, I started it to provide for my family. And as I became confident at that, it turned into a vessel for financial freedom, right? We've now accomplished that, but the goalposts keep moving. So now I'm trying to create as much impact and positivity in the world as possible. So what I realized as well when I was making this presentation is that this very much follows Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? And I just didn't really realize it until I went through it, that we start with needing the physiological needs and the safety, love and belonging, esteem, and then self-actualization. So when you have more money, you can do more good. Throw number one in the chat if anyone has ever had a painter complain that you're taking all the profit and you're not doing anything as the business owner, right? How come I'm working so hard as the painter, but you get all the money, right? And Robert, if you've never got that, that's great. A lot of the times this happens because we as business owners have a bad relationship with money and our painters have a bad relationship with money. So when they have a bad relationship with money, they don't understand what an excess of profit can do. And an excess of profit is a good thing for a business because it means job security, because it means consistency, it means safety, it means promotions, it means company picnics and barbecues and fun stuff. It means bonuses. Like, yes, of course, you're going to be able to make money and do the things that you want to do. But if you help enough people get what they want, you're going to be able to get whatever you want. Wise words from the late, great Zig Ziglar. You can also make more impact, right? So I wasn't initially going to share this story, but I wanted to because I felt it really worked with this impact theme here. This was my friend Bruce. Bruce was an ex-police officer. I became good friends with him when I was doing my CrossFit journey several years ago. And he was the healthiest dude I know, absolutely jacked for like a 55-year-old, right? So he got the unfortunate news that he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And it took everyone by surprise because he was like super clean eater, super healthy, super fit. And all of a sudden he's got cancer. He's got like 6 weeks left to live. So that was devastating for our whole community. And then his wife started doing a Be Like Bruce triathlon, which was really cool. And last year was the last year of it. And my business had finally gotten to a point where I was able to actually be the title sponsor for this triathlon. And I did this not because was getting clients out of it, right? I'm sure we've all done sponsorships. We're like, hey, if I sponsor this, I hope I can get some ROI on it, right? Guess how many painters probably ran in this triathlon, right? I didn't even care. I didn't want a return on investment. I wanted to support it so they could put this event on and make a big donation to pancreatic cancer research. So that's why I volunteered to be the headline sponsor for it. So the point I'm making here is not to boast or humble brag or anything like that. I do not want to come across like that, but just to say that like when you have money, when you have profit, when you have a good relationship with money, you can do more good things. And I want everyone here to at least do one really, really good thing for their community this year. But typically you need money for that, right? So we've kind of gone over this. When I achieve X, then I'll be happy. And that's a really bad place to be because you're going to achieve X and you're still not going to be happy. So let's enjoy the journey, right? So detaching from the outcome, enjoying the process, showing up better, doing better. This is what we want to do. Let's hang on one second, please. Cool. Aaron, giving away meals for family is 6, even though you only made 77. That's awesome, man. Those meals make a huge impact. So I love to see that, make the impact that you can make, which is awesome. Cool. So the two questions that you need to ask yourself before you make your business plan, and this is awesome that it's January 7th. Everyone should be working on their business plans right now. So number one is how much profit do you want to make? And then number two is what do you want to do with your time, right? Because if you want to get to say 200,000 per month in 200,000 per year in profit, but you're not sure what to do with your time, there's a lot of different ways to get there. And I'll bring you through those right now. Most business owners don't do this. Most don't have a plan. Most work just as hard as they can day in, day out and hope that they hit their goals. So here's 4 examples I'm going to take you through. And if y'all are just painting, just take a minute here and come check this out and watch these numbers because I'm going to be throwing a lot of numbers at you and they're going to be hard to follow if you're just listening. So part-time painter, if you want to paint part-time and you want to make $200,000 per year, you can. And here's how it's going to look. As a painter working part-time, you can make about 37K, about 20 hours a week. That's paying yourself about 25 to 30 bucks an hour every hour you're working as a painter. Then the business needs to earn an extra 162,000 of gross profit, right? Keeping your gross profit separate from your earnings as a painter. At about 4,000 a month in overhead, 50% gross margin on your projects, you need $210,000 of gross margin or $420,000 of revenue, which is about 35K a month. So if you do 35K a month, painting part-time and running everything else in the other time, you can bring home 200K, right? Not too bad, but you're working a lot. Now, the next is not being a painter, just running production and sales. So if you still want to make 200K doing this and your business earns 200K, you have the same about 4K a month overhead, 50% gross margin, you now need 248,000 of gross margin or 496 of revenue or $41,000 per month. Okay. So the difference between making 200,000 working part-time as a painter and not working is only about 6K a month, give or take. Now, having a production manager, or sorry, being the production manager. No, this is having a production manager and doing all of the sales. Profit goal. Yeah, Eli, don't have to take a screenshot because I have a spreadsheet, interactive spreadsheet for everyone to use that they can grab right after this. So profit goal, 200,000. Business needs to earn 200,000 of net profit. If you have now a 6K month overhead and a 6K per month production manager, you need about a 50% gross, at a 50% gross margin, you now need 344,000 a month. So now you're still making 200,000, but now you need $57,000 per month, but you're only doing sales. So your day-to-day looks very different. And then the last one I have here is production manager and sales rep. If you want to make 200K, business earns 200K, you have overhead, but your gross margin now decreases to 40% because you're paying 10% to your sales rep. You now need 860,000 of revenue or 71K per month. So see where I'm going. If you want to make $200,000 per year, depends what you want to do. And that will take you from either 35,000 per month to $71,000 per month. You'll still profit the same, but what you're doing on the day-to-day basis looks a lot different. You want to start with the destination in mind. So I really like this example. So imagine you want to go on a road trip, and everyone's probably heard this example before, but I have a spin on it, right? So imagine you want to go on a road trip without a map, right? If you go on a road trip without a map, you're probably going to end up in the wrong spot, right? But what if you want to go on a road trip and you get in your vehicle and you get started, you don't have a map, you don't have a destination, but then as you start driving, you realize that you want to go to Hawaii, right? Then in that case, you don't even the right vehicle to get to Hawaii. So this is why goal setting is so important, making sure you're in the right vehicle and you have the right plan and map to get to where you want to go. After we've had clients doing this exercise, we've actually had them lower their revenue goals multiple times because they realized that their revenue goals were just vanity, right? Profit is sanity. Bigger isn't necessarily the goal for everyone. Build a business that creates the life that you want. So if you go to paintergrowth.com/liftoff, I put together a toolkit for you guys with a bunch of spreadsheets. Eli's just going to drop the link in the chat. And basically, we have a bunch of resources and spreadsheets and sales tracking sheets and flyer template and some setup call stuff. But it's very interactive and it's going to help you create your profit first business plan. So in this spreadsheet here, and this profit first business plan, I'll show you guys really quick how this works. It's the fourth tab of this spreadsheet I'm giving you guys. Number one, you're going to change the yellow cell. So here's, you're going to put how much money you want to make. So let's go back to that 200,000. So we go to 200,000, then it's going to, then down here, put in your average job size, your close rate, and how many leads, what your lead conversion rate is, and what your hourly charge rate is. If you're not sure what these last three numbers are, just leave them as is, and it'll kind of create your plan and you can refine it as you go. But essentially, this gives you what you need to do in terms of your revenue, your jobs, your estimates, your leads, and then your production for each type of job, each type of business. So if you have a production manager, you want to make 200K, your fixed overhead goal, your production salary manager goal, your gross margin, what you need, your net profit goal, your average job size, how many jobs per month, your close rate, how many estimates per month, how many leads you need per month, and then your charge rate, how many labor hours you need per month and per week, and how many full-time painters you need, what your annual production per painter needs to be, and what your gross profit per painter needs to be. Okay, so this gives you your business plan, and essentially you just need to copy it over here to the week over week tracker to allow you to see how many leads, how many estimates, how many jobs, and how many dollars you need to book and produce every single week to stay on track for that goal. Now, if you guys don't have tools like this already, you need to use them. So take this for free right now. Go to File, make a copy, and you'll be able to make your very own copy of each one of those resources. And this is the type of thing that we do with our clients. And actually, we'll walk you through this step by step. We'll hold your hand. We'll make sure that you know exactly what you're doing so that you can effectively pull that type of plan off. Not just have the plan, but actually execute it well. So you start with your annual profit goal, your gross margin at 50 or 40%, your monthly fixed overhead. Yeah, this is all done with the spreadsheet. I just recently built that. Cool. Then you need a plan to get there. So you need to figure out your average job size, your close rate, and your lead conversion rate. And if you know those three things, you're going to be able to get your marketing plan for how many leads you need a week, how many estimates you need, and how many booked jobs you need on average in order to accomplish that goal. So if you want to do 102K a month and you have a $5,000 average job size, that's 20 jobs a month. At a 40% sales rate, that's 52 estimates a month. At a 70% lead conversion rate, that's 74 leads per month. Divided by 4.3 is 17 leads a week. So essentially, if you can build a marketing machine that gets you 17 leads per week, you can do 100K a month, right? This is how we do it. This is how we build businesses. Very scientific, very numbers-based, very mindful, very demure. This is a super simplified version. We missed like 20 steps in making your custom plan, but this is typically what we do with clients. You'll be able to get started on your own with those spreadsheets. Anna, just click on that link above, paintergrowth.com/liftoff. You can get it for free right now. Next, you need to create a machine that can get you the leads and estimates that you need every week, right? There's a lot of guys here who are in that 1 or 2 category, like sub 50K per month. That's the key area where we need to really focus on marketing and sales. We need to make sure that we have a machine that brings us the leads that we need. So I can't go through every lead training system right now, but basically we want to have a solid mix. So we want to not just rely on Facebook ads or not just rely on Google ads or not just rely on word of mouth or referrals. We want to know how to get leads on our own and not rely on just one source. Because if one source went down, if your Facebook ad account got turned off, which has happened to me before, it's devastating if you're relying on Facebook ads, right? Or if you're that one builder who's been sending you projects, finds another painter and goes out of business or moves or something like that, right? Referral source turns off. That can be devastating. So we want a solid mix of lead sources. And so what we teach in our program is online paid, online free, offline paid, offline free, residential repaints, commercial repaints, residential new, and commercial new, so that you're always getting leads from multiple sources and never relying on just one or two. And then, of course, the accountability and support to make sure that you do the thing and you get the result. Now, the next thing here is something called the leading metrics versus lagging metrics. And essentially what this means is a leading metric is something that you have control over, and a lagging metric is something that you're trying to impact. So if you set your weekly goal, something like, I want to book 10K a week, right? It's like, okay, that can be a goal for you, but that's your lagging metric. Right? What are the inputs that I need to do to make that lagging metric happen? What are the leading metrics in order to affect that lagging metric? So something that you can control is your number of estimates. How many estimates are you doing? That is an action that you're doing. You can't control how big those jobs are going to be. You can only control to a point. If they're going to say yes, you're going to have, that's why you have averages. But your lagging metric there is going to be dollars booked, right? And that's why you need to know your average close rate, average job size, and lead slippage so that you can get those averages, get those leading metrics to impact those lagging metrics. Now, your weekly goals should be around your leading metrics, numbers you have control over. And then you should not rest until you've achieved your leading metrics each week. I've talked to countless painters who literally just sit back and wait for the phone to ring. You got no jobs today? I'm going to sit at home and play video games, right? That is not a way to run your business. That is not a way to provide for your family and to be a provider, right? Figure out what that one number is that makes everything else irrelevant. For you, is it leads? Is it estimates? Is it maybe it's hours of production? There's a lot of different things, right? And I'm going to go through the various constraints in a second. You have control of this. You may just not know what to do yet, right? So speaking of constraints, there's my friend Logan, who we worked with, and he had some constraints in his business, notably around sales and marketing. So he was literally, we have a video of it. He was considering shutting down his business and going back to work at a factory in his local town. He didn't know how to get work on his own without buying leads. He used Angie's List, Home Advisor, Bark, Thumbtack, whatever, you name it, and that's how he got leads. But they don't always work, right? He joined our program within 60 days. He booked over $75,000 and went from a painter with a couple of helpers to running multiple W2 crews. He implemented systems and data tracking. And 9 months later, he's now producing over 90K a month and he's only working 40 hours per week, which was a huge win for him. He was working like 60, 70 hours a week before. So that brings me to the theory of constraints. I'm not going to be able to talk after this. It's all good because it's not just about sales, right? Believe it or not, solving sales and getting jobs is the easy part. And some of you guys, especially in the number one category there, you might not believe that, but it is. Once you solve sales, which is very solvable, then you get a lot more fun, but it is the easy part. You can only improve your numbers if you know them. So here's a bunch of constraints, and I want you just to reflect on your business to figure out what you feel the constraint might be in your business. We have exercises to help you figure this out, but just reflect back right now. It might come to you. So is it your number of leads that you're getting? Is it your slippage rate? So how many of those leads that are turning into estimates? Maybe that is not a high enough number. Is it close rate? Is it your average job size? Charge rate, which is what you're charging per hour on average to your clients, material and labor included. Is it your gross margin? So what percentage is left over as gross profit after your job? Is it your labor? Is your labor too high? Or is your material cost too high? Are your painters just not productive? They're not producing at the rate that you need them to be producing at? Is your contribution margin per hour, weeks booked out, your time and effectiveness? So figuring out your constraint is really important, right? If you don't know these metrics, your constraint is likely your awareness of your numbers. And 7 and 8 finger businesses know these numbers. You must become data driven. So what is your constraint, right? You might have many that come to mind, but there's always one. But let's work together to see what your opportunities are. Now I got 10 more minutes here still, Tanner, right? We started a little bit late. I got 35 minutes on my clock right now. I'm not sure he's there. Okay. Well, I think we're gonna go about 9 more minutes.
Yeah, I'm here, Mike. Try to get it done in 10.
Okay, 10 minutes. We got it. So we've built a tool here to help you figure out what your constraint is, whether it's marketing, systems, time, sales, team, production, and numbers. And it's a really cool quiz. And you can go to this right now, quiz.paintergrowth.com, and just save this on your tab to do it afterwards. But essentially, we're going to ask you, Eli, if you can just drop that link in the chat there. So we're going to ask you basically 6 or 7 questions. And each one of these questions is going to help you identify what level each one of your systems is at. So how good is your, okay, Eli just dropped it in the chat there, guys. You can just open it up and save it on a second tab for right now. So how good is your marketing department? So I'm not going to go through every single one, but like number 1, I buy leads or get them from word of mouth. I rarely get enough leads. I have no idea how to get them on demand. All the way to like the 3rd one, I have some idea how to get leads through marketing. We have multiple marketing systems going that bring in leads fairly consistently. Or number 5, we get more leads than we can handle. My team deals with it all and I'm largely hands off. Then we have your systems in your business. How well do you manage your time? I run around like a chicken with my head cut off. I have no systems. Or I know exactly what tasks net me the most revenue and how much time I spend on them. What best describes your sales efforts? I email or text the customer my price when I get home or the next day. Number three, I'm aware of some selling techniques and implement them from time to time. I ask for the job on the spot. I'm aware of what sales rate is, but don't track it very well. Or number five, we have standardized sales process and my estimator does all of my estimates. My role is improving the skill. What describes your team? From I'm the only person I trust in my company to basically I'm removed. I can take a 3-week holiday and no one would notice. Your production, I'm my own, I paint painting on my own. Sometimes I have a helper. I have a couple of crews. I only paint really difficult jobs or if someone's sick or I haven't been on the tools in years. I haven't been on site in months. And how good do you know your numbers? I'm pretty sure I'm profitable on my jobs, all the way to I know my contribution, average job size, break even, and profit per painter like the back of my hand. So those are basically the quiz questions, and you're going to get a customized report card that will assess you and give you recommendations on your weak points and what you should be focusing on. So look through your results. What do you notice? And then prioritize your lowest skills first. Rinse and repeat. Do that again every few weeks as your results will change. Then the most important skill of all, of course, priority management. So if you don't know how to manage your time, you'll never be able to manage your money. Whether you're doing 1 million or 100 million, everyone has the same 168 hours in a week. You can either work more or work better. So some profitable habits. Number one, use a Google Calendar religiously. If you are not currently using a Google Calendar, you are level 0, right? I have my Google Calendar on my home screen, on my phone. So the first thing that I open, I also have Duolingo, but the first thing that I see when I open my phone is my calendar. I live religiously by my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, I'm not doing it, basically. So if I need to program something or schedule something myself, it goes in my calendar first. Put it on your home screen, learn how to block schedule, use a to-do list and prioritize based on value, constraint, and time. Right? You should not be painting. As a painter, and this is going to hurt for a lot of people to hear, but as a painter, if you're looking to scale your company beyond yourself, being a painter on your own, in your own company is the least profitable thing, the least effective thing that you can be doing in your business. That's a $50 an hour task. I want you working in the $500 to $5,000, even $50,000 an hour activities. But being a painter is the worst thing, the least profitable thing that you can do in your company. And then ruthless tasks. What's up, Tanner?
5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yeah, you got it. $50 per hour task, anything production related. $500 per hour tasks, sales, $5,000 per hour tasks, recruiting, $50,000 hour task, creating strategic marketing initiatives, or creating your annual plan. And your $500,000 hour tasks are literally your call with my team when you're ready to scale your business, because that will bring you in another $500,000 this year. And you can't just choose to work 40 hours a week at 50K an hour, right? You got to earn the right. You got to work your way up. It takes time. It takes specific time. So some actions from today, guys. Download the toolkit. Complete your goal setting worksheet. Complete the quiz to identify your constraints. Implement the 3 productivity habits, and then start making more money. If anyone wants to screenshot this, just so you remember after, because you got like a million presentations left. So just screenshot this and put it in your calendar. Put it in Thursday at whatever time is going to work for you, 10 a.m., right? Thursday at 10 a.m., put this in your calendar, put a reminder, do the actions from the Painter Growth presentation, because this will change your business, even if you started doing one of these, right? This is probably what a lot of you guys' businesses look like. But what I want to do is help your businesses look like this: streamlined, organized, and nice and clean, right? And so what people have said about kind of what we do and how and the support that we give our clients is it's really like a franchise system without the franchise, without giving up a piece of your pie, right? All of the systems, spreadsheets, and tools that you need to build, organize, and scale your business, along with the one-on-one coaching, the support, and the accountability and community needed to be successful with that. So number one, we teach you to get leads. We show you how to sell and increase your prices. We help you scale your production. We help you hire your sales reps and your PMs. We help you get your time back. We simplify your business, and we get you into the right community. And we also get you together with an insane group of guys and girls. And now, just really quick on the way out here, I want to just tell you quickly about Kevin. He's right in the back there. You can barely see him. Mr. Kevin, I did get his permission for this. But Kevin, his business was, in his words, failing. He had no confidence in himself. He couldn't close jobs. And we were at our mastermind in Phoenix, and his wife started crying as we were talking about his business and how he showed up at home. We did a meditation mindset shift with him. We worked on fixing his energy, his beliefs, and his life changed in that instant. We have it on video, actually. 13 minutes after his meditation, he got an email saying he won a $165,000 project, the biggest project of his life. The next day, he got an email winning a $20,000 project. And then he just posted a ton of wins that he was getting after the presentation of after our mastermind. That one project ended up being over $287,000. He 4x his business in 2 months. And I'm just going to skip over this with time. So right now, guys, just start with the toolkit. If you want to talk to me, you can email me, mike@paintergrowth.com, or you can text me 762-254-4116, and I will text you back. But for right now, just go to paintergrowth.com/liftoff and get that toolkit right now. Get started working on your business and then reach out when you're ready. Thanks, guys.